And speaking of YouTubers getting arrested, Whistlindiesel got arrested for tax evasion. That's fucking crazy. Didn't see that coming at all. No way. I'm pretty sure if I said it all over Twitter or X. I think it was Twitter at the time. I don't even remember. But anyway, I said it for years, man. I was like, this guy seems like an idiot who's going to get himself fucked around with tax evasion. I watched him for a while and I was like, sounds like he's doing some weird stuff with his taxes, man. I've been hearing rumors and people been looking into him. I think he's going to end up going down for taxes. And then here we are. I'm pretty sure I made a reaction video about it. I'd check, but I don't feel like looking through that many videos. I've made so many videos.
Oh, I forgot. You're broken. I don't want to play with you anymore.
That's terrifying, by the way. That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
As humans, there's a pretty damn good argument to be made that time is our most valuable resource. So naturally, the question always is, what do you spend your time on? Because obviously, once you spend it, you can never get it back, which leads to a lot of things.
Dude, and I watch a lot of drama slop content. Tell me about it, man. I can't get none of that back. What am I doing with my life?
Valued as better uses of your time than others. And, you know, for a certain YouTuber, I think in hindsight, making videos calling me homeless was probably a worse use of your time than, I don't know, learning how to fill out a fucking Form 1040? Might have saved you $2 million worth of bond money, dumbass. Whistlindiesel, more like, wow, I like not paying my...
Yeah, I don't like that guy.
Taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got to be honest.
Once again, rip Bozo.
I did not expect to be back this quickly, but I guess I should have known better. If a week ago you told me that Whistlindiesel was going to get arrested and you wanted me to give a guess as to why, I probably would have gone down the route of him like trying to run for local government in Dubai and just not taking no for an answer. But I think what we're dealing with today is objectively funnier. That's right, boys and girls. Mister, if you don't own a Ferrari, you're poor.
Dude, yeah, exactly. This guy is a piece of garbage. Absolute cinema. Put the fries in the bag.
You just don't work hard enough, has been arrested by the Williamson County Sheriff's Office on charges of tax evasion. Now, obviously, there's not like a ton of information available about this right now because it just happened. But after all...
Yeah, wasn't it something to do with like Ferrari or Corvette? It was something to do with like some kind of supercar company.
The shit that this guy has said and done throughout this year, it would be a personal crime to myself to not talk about this. Now, I learned about this yesterday after somebody DM'd me a post from the YouTube drama subreddit, and then like an hour or two after I saw that, obviously Whistlindiesel was posting about it on his Instagram. And I'm gonna be honest, the optics, at least to me, aren't looking great. Now look, don't get me wrong, that's not me saying that like I think that it looks like he did this. I'm just saying the way that he's handling this is, well, it's very Whistlindiesel-esque. He posted a slideshow of all the pictures of him getting arrested and like the cops coming onto his property.
Of course he did, man.
His mugshot, his charges, all that stuff. And the Instagram audio that he chose for that post is Jordan Belfort's monologue from The Wolf of Wall Street, which is, you know, probably not the best look when you've just been arrested for...
Yeah, does he not realize that that guy went to jail? He went to prison because he did a whole bunch of bad shit. He broke a bunch of laws and was doing a whole bunch of drugs. Like, what are you talking about, man?
Tax evasion? Like, he captioned the post, one so big they thought I was cheating, and it's like, that might very well be the case with you, Cody, but, you know that Jordan Belfort, like, was cheating, right? He had to pay, like, $110 million in restitution. Like, he definitely was doing the shit he was accused of, so, kind of a weird person to incorporate with all this, but, we can move on. Now, like I said, there's not a whole lot that's public about this right now. The department hasn't given any sort of statement. Cody hasn't really said anything more than what he included in this post, but I still do think that there are a few things here to talk about. One of them being that after going through the comments on Cody's post, it appears that a lot of people don't know what tax evasion is. Just so we're all on the same...
Honestly, I think a lot of people don't even know what taxes are, especially a lot of people who watch Whistlindiesel.
Page here. Tax evasion is not just like not paying your taxes. People do that all the time. Not paying your taxes on time, or just like not at all, is America's pastime. Tax evasion is a little different. Like, tax evasion is not whoopsies, I messed up a form, or oh no, I forgot to report some income last year.
No, he was basically making money. He was using taxes to make money.
Tax evasion is hiding your money in a very purposeful way so the government doesn't find it. Like fabricating
Which is just using taxes to make money. Like, you can't do that. That's the government's money. You can't have the government's money.
Financial records, keeping 2 different books, offshore shell companies. That's the kind of shit that is considered tax evasion. It's not just like forgetting to pay your taxes on time one year. And I think most people know that, but clearly, if you read the comments on Cody's post, not everybody does. Now, another thing I found pretty interesting about all this was Cody's bond amount. Motherfucker's bond was set at $2 million, which is...
Yeah, that makes me think that this was a big charge.
Kind of crazy, really. Like, murder suspects often don't even get bond that high, so for him to get a $2 million bond, that tells me one thing and one thing only. It seems like they think this guy is gonna leave the country, and I guess that kind of makes sense with how much he's been going to Dubai recently. And you could make an argument that the guy has sort of made a habit of flaunting his wealth, so I guess that's sort of just how the cookie crumbles, but still, holy shit, a $2 million bond is insane. Cody's obviously very well off, but I don't think he's to the point where 2 million buckarooskies is a throwaway amount of money, so that must have hurt like a motherfucker. And I think that's another common misconception. I saw this a lot in the comment section of his post as well. A lot of people seem to think you only pay 10% of your bond no matter what, and that's not how that works. You only pay 10% of your bond if you're using a bondsman. You give them 10%, they post your bond for you, and they keep that 10% as their fee. If you're paying it yourself,
you still gotta pay, or you go back to jail, bro. Like, that's not how that works. I've been there, man. I know a bunch of people who did that exact same thing. No, you gotta pay that full amount.
Gotta pay the full amount, and like you'll get it back if you follow the rules, but still, $2 million out of pocket cannot feel good. But I'm pretty interested to see how this all plays out, because really, I don't think I'd be surprised at like any outcome. I know we all like to dunk on Mr. Whistling on this channel, but truthfully, I do think that of all people, he makes more sense than most to be falsely arrested for tax evasion. He's one of probably, like, I don't know, 7 people on planet Earth who could justifiably write off the purchase of a Ferrari or like a tank as a business expense. So it really wouldn't surprise me if it came out that it just looked bad on paper, but it was all legit. You know, I've got to imagine that his business's tax returns do look a little bit fucky, you know, just given what he does for a living. And Uncle Sam is always going to get his cut, so it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if it just looked bad enough that they were like, you know what, we're just going to arrest this guy.
Or he was doing some weird behind the scenes trading that he wasn't supposed to do in order to evade taxes. I could see that being a thing, like trading cars, and that, because I was hearing rumors about it being with Ferrari and Corvette, or Corvette. So I think he probably was doing some car trading that he wasn't allowed to do. Like, if you buy a Ferrari, you're not allowed to get rid of it. If you're gonna sell it, you have to sell it back to Ferrari. It's not actually your car. So if like there's a bunch of weird deals going on with cars, I could see how you could be caught for evading lots of taxes.
Ask questions later wouldn't be the first time, but also it wouldn't be the first time that
I'm also not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that seems very viable, and I've been hearing rumors about it.
YouTuber ran into issues when it came to taxes. If you didn't know, all the money that YouTube pays you is untaxed, and if you're making millions of dollars from YouTube, well then that is millions of dollars that the federal government is going to be expecting from you, and you know, some people don't really like to do that. I don't think anybody likes to do that. Taxes fucking suck, but I feel like it's a lot easier when you just like don't really have a choice. You know, when it's just taken out of your check every week and you can't go to your employer and be like, hey, can I just like have that back? It's a lot easier to pay your taxes, I feel like, than when Google is direct depositing 6 figures into your bank account every month and you don't have to pay anything immediately and you can spend it on fun, shiny things. So again, not implying that anybody did anything, but it would make sense for a person who is making millions of dollars on YouTube to want to try and figure out some ways to keep more of those millions to themselves. I will say that Cody's behavior surrounding all of this has me thinking that he's either one, just confident in the fact that he's done nothing wrong, or he's just being kind of stupid and is going to end up making himself look like kind of an ass, like he's
probably both. He probably did a bunch of shit wrong, and he's probably also nothing gonna happen to him, and he's gonna be fucking retarded about it.
Doing all year. Like I said, immediately associating yourself.
Like, if anything, they'll make him pay a whole bunch of money. I think the government would much rather have a rich guy pay a whole bunch of money than just throw him in prison.
Of, if not just like the most famous case of white-collar crime the second you're arrested for tax evasion, is a strange decision. It's not exactly what I would call a good look. I assume he's probably just trying to lean into the whole like, I'm so big, people want to see me fall, I'm so rich, I don't give a shit kind of thing, but it'd be like being arrested for murder and then having like a fucking picture of OJ in your Instagram slideshow. And even then, like, at least OJ wasn't found guilty. Jordan Belfort absolutely was. So it's just kind of like a weird choice. Also, he's been liking certain comments that, again, it's just like not really what you do when you have a federal tax evasion case being thrown at you. Like, he liked an Instagram comment saying blame the accountant, and like an accountant's not gonna do tax evasion for you without asking, you know? So it's just kind of like, I feel like Cody's ego is gonna get in his way here. I mean, the dude's been posting pictures of himself getting arrested to his Instagram story to little baby songs, and like
everything for content, right? Anything for content.
Well, nothing he's doing is
everything is content.
Illegal, and like it's nothing that the courts are really gonna be able to use against him. But it's just like, come on, dude, you're a grown man. Like, getting arrested is not cool. And it's becoming increasingly more and more clear that you think being arrested for tax evasion makes you look really cool. Which, you know, I think just really kind of goes back to what we've been talking about with this guy for the last few months. How everything in this guy's life is sort of dictated by status and money. I mean, obviously, the guy who thinks that nothing is more important than the almighty dollar is gonna think he looks really cool when he's being arrested by the government, because
dude, how sad that your whole life is based on just how you look and your like status and how much money you have.
To him, he's just making so much money they thought he had to be doing something illegal. Which, I mean, really isn't even a flex if you think about it for more than a minute. There are millions of people making more money than Whistlindiesel who are never investigated because there's never a need to. Like, the government thinking you have more money than you should to the point where they feel the need to investigate and arrest you is not really that good of a look, I don't think. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like the way that Cody's looking at this is very surface level. I don't think it's the flex he thinks it is. Anyways, if this is all what Cody is saying it to be, I hope it all gets cleared up for him as soon as it possibly can be. Obviously, my opinion of the guy is not the best in the world, but that doesn't mean I want to see him locked up for something he didn't do. To be honest,
True.
I personally don't even think you should be locked up.
But I think even if he did something wrong, that he's not going to get locked up. I think they'll just make him pay a whole bunch of money. I think either way, he's going to be paying a bunch of money. I think he's going to end up going to court over this at the very least. And there's going to be lots of court fees
for tax evasion if you did do it. I guess that's my hot take of the day. The government wastes half the money they take from us, and they mismanage the other half so poorly that if a person treated money that they owed the government like the government treats the money they take, they'd probably be arrested for tax evasion. So, yeah, I don't really fuck with taxes all that much. At least not what America's government spends our tax money on. Do yourself a favor, or maybe don't actually. Maybe being blissfully ignorant's better in this situation, but read some government contracts. You know, go look at what the government's actually spending your money on. It's not gonna make you happy. Well, guys, what are your thoughts? Like I said, there's not a whole lot of information to go off of here, so really, like, it's not worth speculating.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of funny, and that guy probably deserves to be arrested, but if he didn't do anything wrong, then that was complete bullshit. I disagree with what he got arrested for in the first place, kinda, but also he's a rich asshole, and he's, you know, full of himself, and he's sniffing his own farts and blowing smoke up his own ass. So, you know, I kind of don't care. I don't wish harm upon the guy, but like, holy shit. Like, something's gotta happen to him, I guess, to bring him around, to stop being so fucking ridiculous and retarded. And I just don't like any people like that. He's like a celebrity wannabe.